Okay, so I'll be starting off the session today. So, good afternoon, everyone. Here in India, it's 3 p.m. So, good afternoon and welcome to What After Dentistry. So, I am Dr. Shireen Saini, the founder of What After Dentistry. I work as a healthcare informatician, a trainer, and a consultant. So today, the topic that we are going to talk about in this session is how to choose your area of interest. Now, this we have been hearing for so long, and there are a lot of time that you talk to, graduate students, especially the dental students or any medical students or any kind of graduate students, and you ask them that are you actually pursuing the course that you're really doing it or you really wanted to do. So 90% of the times people always say no, but it's only 10% of the students or the graduates, they are actually taking taking that path of career that they always wanted to choose. So that these are kind of certain statistics that we have got from a study, and I will be sharing you certain tips which I'm sure you might have always heard of while you have been pursuing your graduation or post graduation, or even when you're thinking of doing what you want to do in life. So these are few tips that you might have heard before as well. We're just going to take a quick view on each of them, and we're going to talk about in detail how these tips can help you to find your area of interest or your career of interest. So let's start. So this is the outline of topics that we are going to discuss today. The We are going to talk about how do you identify your career goals, how do you make a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, what's the personality like, how do you review the educational years that you have been doing, or if you have pursued something and you're working somewhere, so you can go back to your educational years and you can see what was your strength, what was your weaknesses at that time. Then we talk about how to identify and assess your skill set. You can utilize your internship or the training time to the fullest, and you should consider volunteering this time because this is the most fruitful time wherein you can decide on what career path you need to work on. And then how do you get started once you have everything on your plate? So, before I get into the details of each of these topics, it's very important for you to understand, as I said earlier, that 90% of students they have no plans what to do after graduation or post graduation. 10% of students are the ones who are actually pursuing their career interest or they are turning their passion into career. Now, this is where we need to work and we need to convert this 10% into 90%. Do you know that 8 out of 10 students choose the traditional path? Now, when I say traditional path, by traditional path, we basically mean by the fact that I'll just give you a very, very basic example. Now, once we are out of 10th and we have to define or we have to decide which stream we need to take up in 11th and 12th, we have either science, we have commerce, or political science and arts. Now, generally, we go by these three streams, and we think that if we are taking a science stream, either we can go and we can become an engineer or we can become a doctor. Similarly, if I take up a commerce stream, the first notion that comes in our mind is we can become a CA after pursuing commerce. But that's not the case. This is what I'm talking about as a traditional path. This is a very traditional approach that you take up science, you become either doctor or engineer, or you take up commerce and you become a CA. And if you take up a political science or arts stream, that's not even considered in today's time, or maybe 10 years back. But today, times are changing. If you think that you are not made for that traditional path, you need to decide and you need to define yourself that what you actually want to do in life and pursue that. So while you take up science, it's not important that you always go for engineering exams or medical exams. It's not always important. If you think you're made for that, go ahead. And if you really like to become an engineer or you have really decided for yourself that you want to be a doctor, please go ahead. But if you think that that's not your path, then find out various career options that you have, various interests that you have. Find out your personality type, and basis your personality, what do you think suits you best? So that is what we are talking about. That if you don't want to go to that traditional path, which other route you can take. So that is what we are going to discuss about in this session today. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to write it in the comment section. At the end of the session, we will take up your questions and answer as much as possible. So moving ahead, some words of inspiration. Now, Confucius was a Chinese philosopher who has numerous quotes written, and this is one of the best quotes that we basically abide by and we love. That is, choose a job that you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. So that's really really true. If you really do something that you are looking for and you really love, that's your passion, you will always look up to your day as a very fruitful and a very happy day, rather than the fact that, oh, I have to get up early, I have to do this work. So instead of these negative thoughts coming into your mind, you'll be very excited all the time to go for your work or to just pursue whatever you have to pursue. So always choose a path that you always want to work on, right? And that will basically leave, let you to reach the destination that you want to. So the very first thing that we need to talk about is identify your career goals. Now, how do you identify your career goals? There are a lot of ways that you can do so. You can ask yourself certain questions like, what do I want from my career? What kind of skills or what kind of activities do I most enjoy doing? What are my strengths? What are my aptitudes? Are soft skills my strength? Hard skills are my strength? Do I need to specialize in a certain technical skills or take on management roles? So all these kind of questions will help you to define your goals. And if the current audience that we have is, I assume that most of the audience we have is are, either they are dental students or they are dental graduates or practicing dentist. So for all those people, when I say if you're pursuing dentistry, you need to define for yourself that what do you want from your career. At the end of your graduation, do you want to go into private practice, or do you want to work somewhere under somebody? You want to work with a hospital, you want to pursue post graduation, you want to get into management. So what exactly are you looking for in your career, and why have you pursued dentistry is something that you need to answer for yourself. While you are starting your clinical year, that's the third year, you need to define by the fourth year that which skills are you good at, or which are the skills, which are those activities or dental departments that you most enjoy doing, right? So all these things you need to start defining for yourself by the time you are in fourth year and you are about to end your fourth year. So you should have all these things laid down for yourself. Similarly, work on your strengths and aptitudes. So if you think that soft skill are your strengths, you can convince patients very quickly, or you are very good at meeting new people. If these are your strengths, work on those strengths. Find out path which will help you to build up these strengths, right? And then finally, if there is a particular skill that you think that you need to master on, then please go ahead and do a master's course. If you think that you are apt for a management role, then go towards the management side. So whatever all these kind of things you need to define for yourself, and always remember that whatever career goals you are defining, these goals should be SMART. Now when I say SMART, in the SMART definition, S basically stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T is for time bound. Right? So when we say SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, your goals should be such that they should be very specific. They should be such that you can measure, or you have some metrics attached to your goal. Your goals should be such that you can achieve those goals. They should be relevant and they should be time bound. Just to give you an example over here, if you think that you have to, after you pursue or you finish your graduation, you have good hands on practice during your internship year, and you want to settle down or you want to set up your private practice. Now, this is your goal, that you want to set up your private practice in the very first year, right? How are you going to set up? So, define smaller goals now. So in the third year, I'm going to define which location you're going to, set up in. You need to define how much capital do you have to invest. You need to define what are the important or the most priority items that you need to keep in your clinic, right? How many staff you need to run your clinic. Are you going to run your clinic on your own, or you need some, staff along with you? Do you need any kind of practice management solution to start with, or initially you're just going to start with paper records, right? So all these things you need to define from the very first start, when you have identified what you want to do after graduation. So that is what we mean by saying that defining or identifying your career goals. The second thing is, once you've defined that this is your goal, this is what I want to do after graduation, I want to set up my own private practice. Now start making a 5 year or a 10-year plan. If you think 5 year or a 10-year plan is too long, start with a 3-year plan. Now, why am I saying so? Is because when you have a plan or a blueprint in front of yourself, you actually start working in that area, right? So it is very, very important that you start planning from the very starting. And how can you do that is by gathering other people's experiences. So you can talk to your seniors, you can talk to your super seniors, you can talk to other people, your professors, your lecturers, who are doing the path or who are into that particular path that you want to go for. So if you want to go for private practice just after BDS, you talk to people who started their practice, right? Learn from their experiences, ask them questions, that what do I need to do, and then learning from that experience, you start creating a plan for yourself, identify what will work for you, and lay down that plan for yourself. And every now and then, especially after every 6 months or so, keep revisiting your plan. That's very, very important. So once you've created a plan, that doesn't mean that, it's a foolproof plan and I will be going by that, because there are certain times, there are certain situations which will just happen. And the very good example to give you for this is the COVID-19 pandemic right now. Nobody ever thought that we will ever be in such kind of a situation. But this situation just came, and we have now learned how to overcome the situation or how to live with this situation, right? So if certain situations come in your life, you need to revisit your plan, you need to revise your plan, and you need to replan or restructure your plan according to the situation you are into. So it is always recommended that every 6 months you keep a check on your plan, you revisit your career plan, and make certain changes if required. If not, then it's really good, and keep following that path that you have already defined for yourself. So if you think 5 year or 10-year plan is like too long, go for a smaller plan, which is a 3-year plan. Now, once you have defined your career goal, you have defined your plan. What next? The next, to give you assurance that yes, you are on the right path, is the best thing is do a personality test. So you need to identify your personality trait. There are a lot of personality tests which are available freely online. You can always search for these tests. By doing these tests, you will identify that by nature, nature has designed you in such a way that you are already falling for certain career paths, or you fall for those strengths which resonates with your personality as well as your interest, right? So you need just this is just kind of an assurance. So if you have identified that this is what I'm good at and this is what I'm going to do, this is what I like to do, and this is my plan, just for your assurance, take a personality test, identify that by nature are you designed to actually work on that path. If not, then what else path will resonate with your personality? So these personality tests will basically give you all those parameters. They will also give you a full defined definition of what kind of paths you should work on, what kind of a person you are. And accordingly, you can choose your career path. So if I go into details, this these are the four categories of personality types which we have, and by the combination of these categories we actually come to around 16 personality types. So there are a total of 16 personality types which are derived from a combination of these four categories, right? So the very first category is, how do you expend your energy? So whether you are an introvert person or you are an extrovert person, how do you receive the information? So that is basically done by sensing or intuition. So do you sense things and then you step ahead? So that means you observe things, or is it by your intuition? Your intuition is so strong that you have a very intuitive mind, right? You can just read people, or you can something you can predict, and that happens. So that is what intuition is. So sensing is where you're observing things and making a decision or keeping that information to you. And intuition is where you already know or you can perceive some information, and you work towards that. Then how do you make decisions? So you think before you decide anything, or you just based on your feeling that you don't like this, you don't want to do it, you like this, you want to do it. So are you a feeling person, or you are a thinker? That you need to define for yourself. And how do you see the world? You perceive the world the way you want to, or do you just judge people or judge the world by what's happening? Right? So these are the four basic categories. By the combination of these categories, we derive 16 personality types. There are a lot of tests which are there for personality tests, which are freely available online. So go ahead, do those tests and identify what personality type are you actually. And once you get that type, you need to read through the entire detail or the result that you get, wherein they also tell you that how or what kind of career path or what kind of career is good for you. And then see that whether your interest is in line with your personality. If it is in line, superb, go ahead. If it's not in line, you can do a little bit tweak here and there and see how you can actually adjust your interest into your personality. Okay? Next, we talk about the educational years. Now, while we are studying or pursuing any kind of graduation or any stream we are doing, we generally don't think on what our strengths is, what our weaknesses is, what are the skill sets that I like to do. We just go with the flow. We just tend to go with the flow and just go through the fact that, and we just feel that we should grasp as much as possible, as much as knowledge as possible, and just rely on having a degree in hand, which actually doesn't work when you're out of your college. When you step into the real world is totally different from what we live our lives in schools or in colleges. So it's very important that you review back, go some years back, and see during your educational years what was your strength, what was your weakness. List down at least five of your strengths, and out of these five, drill down or narrow down to top three. Similarly, do the same thing for your weaknesses. List down five weaknesses and narrow down to top three weaknesses. Now, for strengths, based on your strengths, find out the career path that is in line with your strength. Whereas for your weakness, make sure that you do not, choose a career path which is in line with your weakness. Then it will be very difficult for you to live that career path, right? So for strength, build up your career, strength and make that strength as your career path. For weakness, improve on your weaknesses. That's very, very important, right? So for example, maybe you are an introvert person, you don't like meeting new people. But whenever we go out into the real world, we have to meet new people. Okay, we have to go and talk to other people whom we don't know to find out information. Now that can be related to anything. So everywhere we it is a mandate that you meet new people, you find out real good ways, because even if you're switching your, say, jobs or companies, or even your work, if you're switching off, you have, every time you switch to a new place, you meet new people. So if that's your weakness, that you don't like meeting new people and you don't like talking to to new people, then you need to improve on that weakness, right? And you need to try to make that weakness as your strength if possible. If not, then at least improve that weakness and work on it. So that's very important. So enhance your strengths, and basis on your strengths, choose your career path, improve your weaknesses, and do not choose a career path which is in line with your weakness. So meeting new people, if that's not your strength, you should not be into marketing field, or you should not be into a sales job, because then you need to meet new people every day, right? So this is certain kind of examples that you need to keep in mind whenever you are reviewing your educational years. Next, identify and assess your skill set. Again, the same thing. Whatever skills you're good at, maybe you're good at writing, you're good at meeting new people, you're good at presentation skills, you're good at, if you're a dental student, then you're good at carving, you're good at restorations, you're good at consultation and reading or interpreting radiographs, okay? Or you might be really good at extractions. You can handle a hardcore extraction in a very simple manner. So if that's your skill, identify those skills. Identify the top 3 skills and choose a career path accordingly. So if you feel, for example, extraction your skill, work really hard to get an MBS seat for to become an OMFS, right? So if you think that restoration or doing RCTs is something that is your skill and you really love to do that, you should go for endodontics. Either you go for a MBS in endodontics or you go for a certificate course. That's up to you, right? So you need to define yourself. If you think that management and organization or meeting new people and doing new stuff is something that excites you and not the clinical part, go for a management role. So these are certain skills, or these are certain ways wherein you can identify what is your skill set, and you can assess those skill set, work on those skill set, and find out a career path which is in line with your skill sets, where you are good at, which you actually love doing. Okay. And if it's sometimes it's very not easy for us to define skill sets for our own, for our own sake. So what, in those cases, you can always take feedback from your friends or from your professors, from your family members, and they can help you to identify your skill sets. Like in my case, I was always told in my graduation years that I'm really good at management. And so I pursued management, and I've always liked doing management, managing stuff, organizing stuff, all that, like for example, kind of an event management whenever we are in colleges. So all those kind of stuff or activities I really like doing, and hence I pursued management after BDS. So you need to identify these skill sets for yourself and pursue a path which is in line with your skill set, so that you excel in that area. The most important step: utilize your internship or training time to the fullest. Now, every graduation that you do, anything that you are doing in life, you always have certain time period where you apply as a trainee, right? So if you're a dental student, in our dentistry we generally have 1 year of internship time, and even if you're doing some other graduation, then you have a training time wherein it might be of 2 months or 6 months, depending on what kind of course you are pursuing or you want to pursue. So this training time or this internship time you should utilize to the fullest. Okay. Now by this I don't mean that you stop enjoying or having fun with your friends and just keep on working on career. That should not be the case. Having fun with your friends, family, everything is very, very important, because that keeps you happy. And once you're happy, you do good things, right? So that also you do. But then along with that, identify, because 1 year of internship is a good time to invest and to see that what lies ahead. Okay. And for example, if you want to open up a private practice, now along with your internship, if you can get an NOC from your college, you can go as a volunteer or as an intern or as an observant to a good dental practice which is nearby or wherever you want to work for, right? So go and utilize your internship time, wherein you can volunteer in that private practice, and you can see actually how a private practice is running. There are a lot of aspects which are really very important to run your own private practice. It's just not the fact that you're good at some skill. For example, you're really good at doing RCTs, but a patient who's coming to you for the very first time doesn't know that, because your clinic is very new, and that patient doesn't know that you do very good RCTs or you do very good extractions, right? They will only come to know once you perform that treatment on them, or once you treat them, basically. Okay, so how do you then convince that patient? Now that is an art that you need to learn. How will you learn that? If you attend as a volunteer, if you go to a good clinic as a volunteer or as an intern in that clinic, you work under somebody, you get to know what are the various business skills that you actually need to run your own practice. So that is why this internship time is really very, very important, that you spend some time volunteering in your career interest and observe how it feels. For example, now you say that after graduation, I want to pursue post graduation. Now talk to people who are doing or who are pursuing post graduation. Talk to them, find out how is the life after you pursue post graduation, or while you're pursuing post graduation, how hard you have to work towards that degree or towards that course. Okay, observe how it feels, learn from their experiences, and then choose the ones that you actually fall for. Okay, so this is a very, very important time wherein you can see what is happening in the real world. You can actually experience that as an intern or as a volunteer, and see for yourself that is this the path that you really want to work on? And if it is yes, then please go ahead. So now you have everything ready. You have your career goals ready. You have your career plan ready with you. You know that your personality is in line with your interest. You have taken all the real world experiences. You have utilized your internship time. What to do next? So the next is just get started. Now there are a lot of ways by which you can get started. Either you just start off why just once your graduation is over, or you can always talk to a career coach or a guide. Now this will actually give you an assurance that yes, you are on the right path. Okay, it's not always important that you work or you talk to a career coach or talk to a career guide, but this will actually be very important for you in terms of the fact that because these coaches or these guides, they know that what is your interest, they know what is your personality type, and they have done a lot of researches, or they read through a lot of researches. So they come to know that what actually is good for you. They can guide you towards the right direction, and that gives you an assurance that yes, you're on the right path. Okay, so this is the very first thing that you can do. Other thing that you can do is you can utilize social media. Now it's a very, very good tool. Social media is just not for posting pictures and getting likes and comments on pictures, but if you use it in a correct direction, if you use it in a right manner, it is an amazing tool. So you can connect to people whom you feel are in your industry. You can ask them about their experiences, as I said earlier. Clear your doubts from them. Learn what all qualifications or certifications are needed to pursue your career interest, right? Then you can always read blogs, articles, and get lots of relevant information that you need. And the thirdly and the most important thing, I think, if you ask me, that how should we utilize social media, is join forums and groups. Now when you connect to people, you are relying one to one on somebody. But when you join a forum or a group, and when you ask your questions on a group, there are you're not relying on one person. There are a lot of people who will be giving you certain things. There might be negative comments, positive comments, but you'll get insights from a lot of people from the same background. So it's not just one who's giving you the direction, but a lot of other people's, and you need to decide for yourself which comments to keep, on which you need to work, and which ones just to ignore. Right? So forums, these are the best way basically to ask questions and learn from industry leaders. Social media has bunch of these forums where you can connect with people and you can always answer and you can get answers to your queries. So this is a very, very good thing to do, that you utilize your social media platforms in a very good manner, wherein you actually get to know a lot of things what is happening in the real world scenario. Save money. The third thing and the most important thing, whatever you do after graduation, you open up a dental clinic, you want to pursue post graduation as MDS or MHA or MPH, whatever, even a small certification if you are looking for, everything requires money. So start saving money as much as possible. You are given X amount as your pocket money, save 10% of that X amount, save that money. It might not be very huge, but it will help you in some way or the other down the line. Trust me. So saving money is very, very important. Even in your internship, if you're getting a stipend, save 10% of that stipend. Whether it is 100 rupees also or not, that doesn't matter. The amount doesn't matter, the quantity doesn't matter. Okay, it's just that when you save and you're saving from a long period of time, you actually get a good amount in your hand, and you can utilize that amount in various ways, the way you want to. Okay, so save money is very, very important. And lastly, very important, be patient, keep working, and never stop learning. So patience is the virtue. Everything will not happen in just over the night, or maybe just 15 days. It took you 6 years to complete your graduation. You can't imagine that after 6 years, the very first next year, you're going to earn in lakhs. That is not going to happen. That never happens for anybody. So you need to be patient. It's just that you need to be in the right direction. You need to walk on the right path. Keep revisiting your path, keep revisiting your plan, keep revising your plan if needed, and again make smaller goals. If you are able to achieve your small goals, believe me, the larger goal that you have imagined for yourself or visioned for yourself, you will definitely achieve that large goal. But first, you need to be patient. Keep achieving your small goals, work on smaller goals, and then achieve or move towards the bigger ones. If you are not able to achieve the smaller ones only, imagine how will you be able to achieve the bigger ones, right? So that is why be patient. Be patient, that's very, very important. Nothing will happen overnight or even in the very first year, but down the line, it is definitely going to happen. And keep working, never stop working. When you keep working, you actually tend to learn a lot of new things. Okay, the work itself will teach you a lot of things. Very good example to give here is when we are doing dentistry, when we are studying or pursuing BDS and MDS, nobody teaches us how to run a dental practice, right? But we learn it on our own. Nobody tells us how to keep accounting of the practice that we are doing. Okay, nobody teaches us that, but still we learn accounts. At least on a small scale, we do accounting stuff, a bit of small accounting. We do it for our own clinic. Nobody taught us that, but we still learn, right? Because we kept working on it, so we learned. Okay, nobody tell us or nobody teaches us how to convince patient, but still we try to keep convincing patient. Then there is a time when you just tell a patient that your 2-7 is carious, it needs restoration, and the patient says, yes sir, please do it for me. Just remember. So this is something, consistency is the key. So when you're consistent, you keep learning a lot of things on that way. And once you um, stop working, this learning also stops. So never stop learning. Either in any form, you pursue a new skill, or you do a small certification, you go for any kind of a course, or you just do, or randomly you're reading something online. So even reading is something that helps you to learn a lot of new things. So never stop learning. Okay, there's no age to learn new things. You can always learn at whatever age you are, right? So this is very, very important. And by this, we end our session today. And if you have any questions, please mention in the comments. We'll be very happy to answer. Uh, so I just to give you an overview of what we do is, so we basically at What After Dentistry, we are a team of dentists with healthcare management background, and we are here to guide you through various career options to explore after dentistry. Now, we believe that the right information, the right education, and the right knowledge can empower you to excel in any sphere of the healthcare industry. It's not just clinical dentistry that we talk about, but there are a lot of other aspects involved after you complete your graduation or post graduation. Okay, so we talk about all those stuff. So here is the team. I am Dr. Shireen Saini, and along with me we have Dr. Vipin Vasudev, who is a co-founder and the content analyst. He also works as a Cerner and Carestream application specialist in Qatar. And these two applications, Cerner and Carestream, these both of them are world's best EMR and EDR. Okay, so we have an experience of around more than 8 years now, and here we are here to help you. These are our services. So we provide weekend workshops on digital health, business analysis, and digital marketing. We provide consultancy services on how you can run an effective dental practice, how can you define a dental practice management solution for yourself, and we help dental students or dental graduates if they are looking for any kind of career guidance. We also take sessions for them one-on-one basis. Follow us on social media. Our social media handles are @whatafter These are the references from where I took some data. And thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you for being patient listeners. And we will be seeing you soon in subsequent videos. And I hope to see you that this information or this session helped you in some way to define your area of interest or to define how you can go ahead in your career ahead. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to help. This session will also be available on our Facebook page. In case you have missed out on the session and you were not able to attend the session, then you can check it out from our Facebook page. Don't forget to like our page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye and good luck. And if you need any kind of services that we are offering, please do reach out to us.